on, babies.
Richard.
Queen.
So you, I read.
Big Mac.
So late.
How am I late?
Nothing. Never mind. On the Irene part.
Welcome to the show, gentlemen. Good to see you again after a long weekend stay. It's always nice to come back to a week in your bright, bushy-eyed faces. Let's go ahead and get this kicked off. I'll start with my opening take. It's NBA. The NBA season is upon us. Baseball season is finally truly dead to us, unless you're Bill or against Ray and you're a Braves fan. So I'm going to go NBA here. And a little bit off pace of the Celtics, the rule changes that they have made and implemented are fucking great. Brilliant. They're awesome. Not only have they made the games better, you're not getting ticky-tack calls every single time someone goes to the rim in the NBA. It's personally made James Harden a martyr and a crybaby little bitch, and I love it. So
9
kudos.
free throws, 3 games.
Kudos to Adam Silver and the NBA having the balls to actually do that. And honestly, the games have been better. The actual basketball has been better. You've been able to kind of get back to some hand checking, defending at the rim. So good on the NBA. Hasn't helped the Celtics much. They kind of look like shit, but the rest of the NBA looks good. Raymond?
Mine is that the Patriots are 10-16 since Judas left us from the Foxborough faithful. But 4 of those wins are against the Jets. So really, you're 6-16 without Judas. Putting up 50 burger on the Jets is nothing to raise your hat about. But yeah, this is not a big celebration win. I don't think this is a turning the page. You need to face real competition and put up that kind of numbers in order to be boasting, saying you guys are back.
I love how Dr. Big Mac's sayings are just like always a little bit to a lot of bit off. What does raise your hat to?
Tip your cap. Sorry.
Raise your hat to a 50 burger. Okay.
I'm starting new things. Leave me alone.
Hat raised. Bill?
It's terrible. Oh, I'm going Bruins. Nice 3-1 start for the Bruins. No, I think the big reason for that is just seeing some balanced scoring, especially the guy I hate the most, Jake DeBrusk, got 2 goals. He's got 2 goals quickly. He's kind of fitting nicely on that third line. You know, if this kind of keeps up, I hope he's in the 25, 30 goal score this range. I'll take 20, 25. But now you've got more balanced scoring. You're not worrying about that erection line. You know, this is what you're going to need in the playoffs. And it's nice to see early. I know it's only 4 games, but it's nice to see early.
If I'm not mistaken, Ray, was DeBrusk the first one on the list, on the Dead to Me list, or was that Brady? It might have been DeBrusk.
No, it was Brady then, because they were having a football season, but they weren't having a hockey season when we started this.
Yeah.
It
So
was
Brady was dead to me, but DeBrusk was the mainstay.
He was
the
up there.
list.
No, I think Ray Bork even went before DeBrusk.
That might be true. His name's all chalky and dusty though. It's been on there for so long.
Yeah, exactly.
DeBrusk is big and bold on the murder list. Of course, we'll be talking
I
about
forgot
Patriots,
about the list.
Patriots and Jets. Red Sox season ends. We'll get a little bit into that. Bruins off to a hard start, and Celtics have finally picked up a win in a early in the season. And anything else you want to get to, boys? Welcome to the Simple Mind Sports Show. Fat Tuesday weekend roundup, October 26th. Nailed it. Welcome to the show. Of course, we're brought to you by White Birch Brewing, the best craft brewing in New Hampshire, down in Nashville, New Hampshire. Ray, address, please.
460 Amherst Street.
Good side of Amherst Street. Get on down there, get yourself a flight, get yourself a pint. It's good beer drinking season. Get some Marzen, some stouts, whatever's going to keep you warm. You got some bad weather coming your way, so go down there and cheer up with some brewskis.
Gross today.
Pretty bad. They also got a TV. If you can't get down there, get it at your local beer store, wherever you get it. Tell them the Simple Minds boys sent you White Birch Brewing. Nice hat, Ray.
Thank you.
I like it, Ray.
I did it for you, Queen.
Thanks, baby.
The Atlanta Braves. Hey, we were 1 for 2 on the
Not bad. We
on
did
the
pick him
World
to go to the
Series
World
prediction.
Series.
Ray, who did you guess? The Red Sox were playing the Red Sox or something like that?
No, I had Toronto Blue Jays versus the LA Dodgers.
Oh, yeah,
I'm actually good on Atlanta. I didn't think they'd beat the Dodgers, 106 win team. You know, they didn't have home field advantage, which again, when the division, it is kind of stupid, but it worked. I mean, you had a couple of heartbreakers. I thought heartbreaker game 3 of Bellinger, and then you fucking got blown out in game 5. and come back to Game 6. It's a big Eddie Rosario home run right there.
Dude,
Ooh.
say whatever you want about
Who
it.
did they get for Eddie Rosario? They got him for
Pablo
nothing,
Sandoval, who was immediately released upon trade. I think he went to where was it? Fucking Cleveland. They immediately cut him.
Mm-hmm.
The Dodgers are the most overrated or underachieving team, and they're going to be on the list for the history of sports when it's all said and done. The amount of money that they've spent in this stretch, only getting one World Series, a fake World Series in a shortened season, and only making it twice.
And they lost. Didn't they miss it 3 times? They lost twice. They lost back-to-back years. And
they lost to the Red Sox,
won.
and the Astros. So they got there 3 times, won one fake one. Pathetic.
Look it up. You went out and your prize acquisition had a fucking dead arm because you pitched him in the 9th inning on an off day. Had a dead arm who couldn't start Game 6 or even come in, and you let Walker Buehler just give up the fucking jack. And you
shouldn't Mookie just be winning series by himself?
Shouldn't Mookie not strike out on 3 pitches at the biggest stage in the game? Should he not with Matzik coming in? Dude, that guy's
ring. That's all it is.
Yeah, dude, that's exactly. I mean, it's a 60-win championship. You know, that's an analytical born team. I fucking mentioned it. Like, they've been starting Nebel and all that, and they asked Dave Roberts why, and he said, I only have 1 vote. That is management, upper management controlling every aspect of that game, and I can't be happier to see them lose, especially to my Atlanta Braves.
Your Atlanta Braves. Congratulations on that. Let's switch the email up a little bit. We'll start here with the baseball season ending, and we'll look forward to brighter days. We'll start Red Sox Game 6. Well, I don't even know if we talked about the Game 5. I kind of forget at this point after it all, but the decision to keep Chris. Oh, we're alive.
When we were alive. Bill was ready to kill himself.
Well, and unfortunately did not succeed. The decision to leave Chris Sale in against the Nerds. We've been for it this whole time. I wish they did it with Pivetta. I wish they did it with Evaldi. But we've also had left that little caveat in, like any starting pitcher. If you leave him in for an inning and he starts to look like shit, then you pull him. This is where I think Cora deserves some serious second guessing. The way he handled his bullpen, with the last couple games here, just didn't feel like he had a pulse on when to pull guys and when to keep them in. Chris Sale is a big one for that.
Pivetta is another one too, right?
Pivetta was the big one. I would have let Sale in, let him kept him going in, at least try to get an extra inning out of him. Honestly, he was rolling. My biggest qualm with it is letting him pitch to Alvarez again. We had 2 hits on him, including the fucking home run. He pitched to him again for the 3rd time. 2-run double, game over. That's where I have it. Right. You could have went, was your lefty? You could have went to Josh Taylor there earlier than you had to and face the lefty. You saw it when Alvarez got up. Why are you pitching to him? Sale was done at that point. You waited 1 batter too long. You kind of get another guy in there, Josh Taylor, who's your lefty, not Martin Perez. So you only have Josh Taylor in there. That's where it was. I'm fine letting Sale go. He was rolling. He had got a little bit of trouble early, but Alvarez is the only guy that really hurt him until the 6th inning. So, I mean, that's where you wanted to go. Yeah,
he was rolling. He had the big strikeout out of a jam in the 4th, came off screaming into his mitt. 1, 2, 3 in the 5th. He's rolling. He feels good. Your bullpen's a little bit taxed. He's a $30 million pitcher. Go out there, see if you can get it done. As soon as he had that rough at bat with Altuve, it's like, no, he's cashed. Let's go. Pull him.
Yeah, and you saw it against Evaldi. I believe it was Game 2. I know it was a 9-3 game, but he had trouble. He went out in the 5th, got the first quick out, 5 1/3, and then had trouble. I think he gave up a hit the next guy, and it was like, boom, gone, or a walk. I think it was a hit, and then he came out and pulled him. I understand your bullpen's taxed, but that's a pivotal play in the game. You needed to get him out of there. You're still in the game. I understand, like, especially against Valdez, who was literally rolling at that point, hadn't given up a hit. When 8 strong innings, they had 3 hits. Like, at that point in time, you can't be giving away runs. You can't be leaving him in there for 1 batter too long. He's made the call 1 batter too early. How many times this year? And that, like, he's going to be killed either way. I would have creamed him if you fucking pulled him early. Yeah. It's just 1 batter too late. I would have not let him pitch to Alvarez.
Yeah, it just didn't seem like, it seemed like he lost the pulse of it a little bit there. But more importantly, I mean, picking at Stars here, the lineup went to sleep. They went to bed. What was the 9 for 82 in the last 3 games? Fucking Alvarez was 8 for 12 on his own.
You scored 21 runs in your 2 wins, and would you score 6 runs total in your 4 losses? You had 5 hits the last 2 games. Right?
They went to sleep, and it's not that they went to sleep. It's that they went away from their approach. They all settle. It's like watching the fucking Celtics when their offense doesn't work. They all settle back in to their own selfish habits. Everyone was trying to pull, and both of these guys Valdez and
Garcia
were pitching to ground ball contact, and the Red Sox were playing right into their hands for 3 straight fucking games, and they did not adjust but one time. In that seventh inning of Game 6, they had some action on the base path. I mean, credit to Maldane. What the hell?
Maldonado. He's one of the best defensive catchers.
Strike
in
him
baseball.
out, throw him out. Verdugo and Travis Shaw. I don't mind the play call there. You haven't hit the ball in 3 games. You want to avoid a double play. You got a bad jump for Verdugo and a hell of a play by Maldonado and a bad swing by Shaw. So that was your chance to stay in the series. As soon as that happened, that was ball game in Game 6. But yeah, your lineup went to shit, Raymond. It just went to absolute shit.
Yeah, and that's what we said all along before spring training and all that. We said if these bats go to sleep, this team's doomed because the bullpen cannot get you wins in this for this team. So yeah, as soon as those bats went to sleep, you could tell this was over with. I think Dusty Baker finally found something that the hitters that he could capitalize on, like something with their pitchers. Yeah, though. But anyways, I mean that's all it was a simple adjustment, and they took advantage of it. And now Houston's on their way to the World Series.
Well, they took advantage of the Red Sox and the fact that Red Sox aren't swinging at first pitches. You look up Altuve getting up there in fucking Game 4? You saw Whitlock groove one in the 8th inning directly down the plate, and it was boom, gone. Right? I mean, they were hitting first pitch strikes all game, like the whole series. Now you have the Red Sox not. They started attacking the strike zone, and then the Red Sox were getting down the count early. You didn't see a lot of walks games 5 and 6. They tried to expand their strike zone, and they were swinging at terrible pitches, weak ground outs. You had Hunter Renfroe trying to pull everything. You want to talk about an adjustment that needed to be made by Alex Cora? Hunter Renfroe needed to get out of there. At some point, you needed to start putting Bobby Dahlbach in and shift your team around. Fuck Kyle Schwarber. And I'll tell you the reason I don't think the reason he didn't do it, because I think Kyle Schwarber hurt himself in that fucking that swing. You look like they were saying it was a cramp. I think he hurt his hamstring because you watch his bats the last 2 games, and including that game to finish, he was just fucking flailing at the ball. I think there was a lot more, and he was trying to gut it through. That's probably why you had to stick with Hunter Renfroe there. I think they were hiding his injuries, but that's just my conspiracy theory. But either way, it doesn't matter. You had to get him out of there and just try to do something. I don't think you could have played JD or Schwarber in the outfield.
I mean, look, watching this team all season long, you can start picking it apart in some decisions here. It's that type of sport. It could make or break your series, literally. However, I just think the Astros won because they got balls and this Red Sox team doesn't. You saw it all season. As soon as they hit some adversity, they kind of crumbled. You got swept by the Yankees until that wildcard game in the second half of the season. Going into the wildcard break, you went into a slump. Coming out of the trade deadline, we've examined this. You went into one of the worst slumps in the league. And then it took facing some shitty teams and letting you beat them for them to get their confidence back and to really spark it. And honestly, when the whole team got COVID and these kids came up and won them some games, that sparked a run too. And we saw that all season long. If you really go back and look at it, I don't think they pulled themselves out of a bad situation all year. They left it up to the Orioles or the Rangers or the Twins or some garbage organization that they could go throw Chris Sale at for 5 innings and get an easy win. And then, we're front runners again. We're riding high because we're playing good against shitty competition. And as soon as that went out the window against the Astros and they got a sniff of blood, they're the type of team to completely take advantage of it. And the Red Sox fucking cowered and crumbled.
And then this Chris Sale, it's funny because we were bitching about how Chris Sale wasn't playing any playoff teams, Yankees, Tampa Bay, all that other stuff. They were kind of hiding him against Baltimore and Texas and all that. Now I understand why. Like, we were ripping the Red Sox for this, them. And then now we're sitting here after you lose, after he didn't pitch that terrible in 6, 5 2/3 or 5 1/3, whatever. And it's just like, I understand now. I completely understand. They still didn't trust him. And then it makes me question this, the trade deadline even more if you were hiding him because you didn't trust him. And when you had opportunities to get anybody, bullpen help.
Mm-hmm. Very good.
He didn't come out till after the trade deadline. You didn't know what you had with him until after the trade deadline.
It doesn't matter. They knew that he was coming back, and it makes sense. If you go back and look at the chain of events that got us here with Chris Sale, it was hiding him against the shitty teams because you couldn't beat the good teams even with Chris Sale. They had to beat those teams. They're throwing Chris Sale because it's not the Yankees lineup. Even Tampa, who's got a fucking really good lineup. It all makes sense. And when you look at it the big picture of it. That's why, and it makes me more angry that you didn't address anything at the trade deadline in the bullpen.
One decent arm. I mean, I guess Robles.
Oh, and you want to go further back? Buster Gatorall for LA right now is a pitching fucking stud, and you botched that to get Colton Wong, whatever the fucking stupid name, catcher down in AAA because you didn't trust his arm. How good do fucking he look in the goddamn bullpen in this?
And let's not give him that much
series.
credit that they didn't trust his arm. They got heat from the Red Sox fans and from the public that they weren't getting enough back, so they went back on the deal.
He would have been the best fucking piece because everything else is trash.
They fucked the whole thing up, except for Verdugo. He's been all right. Well, okay, it's over. They outshot their coverage. That's for sure. They got further than anyone expected them to, right or wrong. Toot. I was high on them. I thought they had enough talent to make a run for the division in the playoffs. At least they did. And they got there. I honestly think they maximized their talent. I don't think they overachieved as much as a lot of people think they did. Their pitching, Nick Pivetta, give him all the credit in the world. Without him, they wouldn't have got there. Nathan Eovaldi stepped up. Those two guys in your rotation.
Healthy, mind you, Nathan Eovaldi, and I never expected that.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
those two guys in your rotation were awesome. Garrett Whitlock. And even, Matt Bard, say what you want, but the beginning half of the season had a lot to do with those wins. So, you had some guys step up in your rotation you didn't think would, and that helped you. And your rotation is, your lineup's one of the best in the league. So, yeah, you overachieved, but not by that much. I wouldn't be tooting them too goddamn much. They should be right back here next year if they make the right moves. Speaking of that, what are they? Schwarber and pitching?
I'd bring Schwarber back, and JD. He's got to make that call now. He had a solid season, 30 home runs, hit about 280, 90 RBIs. That's what you want from him. But if you can get Schwarber for cheaper and he's a younger player, I would try to invest in him for another 3-4 years. He likes it here. He sounds like he wants to be back, but again, he doesn't have a position. So if you're bringing him back, you sacrificing JD Martinez. And at this point, I'm going to say yes. You kind of hope JD kind of walks. Again, I'd rather invest my money in the 27-year-old Schwarber versus about to be 32, 33-year-old JD Martinez.
A little bit old. I think JD is actually going to be 34, 35.
And then Schwarber's like 28.
Schwarber's like 27, something like that. So yeah, there's just 4, 5, 6 year difference there. So that certainly makes a difference. And you certainly can't lose both. And if you're not going to keep both because of either positional issues or fucking money, I
expect them both to be back. Truthfully,
then I'd like to have Schwarber back. And
I don't think you're gonna have both. I think you're gonna have one or the other.
I think you're gonna have both back. I think the experiment, with as much as we kind of hated it, I think the experiment at first with Schwarber is kind of worked. You want that bat in the lineup. You saw what he did moving him into the lineup spot. If you look where he was in the 1 and 2 hole, you look where he was hitting good in Chicago and Washington was those first 2 hole hit. So that's where he was. Bobby Dahlbach makes him expendable. I know he's young, but he's only 20. He's still 25, but you could really look to trade him for either prospect or get a guy, a bullpen arm, especially a rebuilding team love guys like this, and that's where you got to go. And then you could bring back a Travis Shaw for defensive replacement later on. I'm fine with him.
I think JD's already had the writing on the wall, though, when he said he was 50-50 on re-signing with the Red Sox.
He's been saving 50-50. Like he said, the last couple of years he's been 50.
But I think that's his out. I don't think he wants to be here. I don't think he likes Boston, just kind of like a Mookie Betts type situation. He doesn't like the press being negative towards him. I think he's gone. He's going to go to a National League team where he's going to get paid bank, like fucking like a Rockies or someone that has money to spend, and it's just going to be one of those things.
Well, you're looking at the universal DH now, so that opens up another 15 teams, 16 teams out there. Well,
I think you're still going to start. I think you're still going to see, if not a shrinking market, then a smaller market than guys are used to. And JD Martinez still has an opt-in.
That's what he has to do. He's still signed. He has to opt in.
So
but I don't think he's going to. I think
he'll test his market, and if he can't get 20 million, he'll opt in. That's what he'll do. He's going to come for the money. Well, let's see. My whole thing, I've said this for a long time. I hope they go and try and find young pitching, and a shit ton of it, and a cost controlled young pitching. I think that's the way that you need to move. We'll see. There's always next year. That's the Red Sox.
Well, that's when they're going to make the signs anyways, because they don't do free agent signings till February, March.
Yeah. The hot stove is going to be on fire here for the next 7 months until they're left with nothing to sign.
I remember back in the day. I remember getting the Manny Ramirez news at like midnight on a school night. Like that's what I like. And in December, it was like early. It was the
meetings, the winter
the
meetings.
winter meetings, and now you see it. Like I'm hoping it's gonna be different this year with COVID. Like the COVID's kind of gone, and now you can kind of start meeting with people more. But I don't know.
No,
It
it's collusion.
sucks.
It's
Yeah, it
MLB
sucks.
collusion. They got to change it. They got to make it like every other sport, a month of free agency, so everyone has to bust their ass to make it happen.
Yeah.
Speaking of every other sport, the Patriots drop a 50 burger on the Jets, 54 to be exact. The Jets probably are the worst team in the league. I think that might be the case. So not a lot to learn. Ray is not impressed, especially Zach Wilson, the number 2 overall pick, knocked out of the game. But by the way, what do you think of that? The play before is where I think he got hurt.
That's where I thought he got.
I think so too. That was all his fault. He threw and jumped in the air. Like Wise was already going there. He had no chance. He was going to hit him at the hip, but he
loses the protection out of the pocket too. A lot of people
and it was
about
he was
late hit or whatever else. You're a runner at that point.
But Judon landed where you could see his knee he sprained his PCLs out 2 to 4 weeks, and it was just pussy. Yeah. But dude,
big breaking news: they signed Joe. They traded for Joe Flacco.
They traded for Joe Flacco because what the fuck is this guy's name?
Mike White. Did you hear what everyone's saying? He's like the fake guys that on the Madden franchise that get drafted every year, like the no-name guys. Mike White.
That's what it felt
Jim
like. How do you not have a
Blackington.
veteran there to back? Anyway, yeah. So whether it would have mattered or not, probably not. Zach Wilson threw 4 awful picks last time they played him. Didn't look much better in the short time he got.
Look at how night and day Zach Wilson is compared to Mac Jones.
He sucks. Well, the Jets suck. They're a fucking garbage organization. They don't belong in the league. They are the number 1 reason for relegation. They don't belong in the league. So all that being said, it's always nice to fucking crush them. And I like to see that Belichick hasn't lost his fastball or his balls and is getting Brian Hoyer out there throwing 40-yard fucking bombs in the keel.
I couldn't believe that.
In the 4th quarter. I'm with it. I'm with all of it. But real quickly, so not a lot to do with this game, honestly. I think you're right, Ray. But let's hit some of the key points. I'll run them down and you tell me what you thought was the most important or whatever you think, whatever you got your thought on. I thought the offense, even though the Jets defense is bad, it's not as bad as the Jets offense. That Jets defense is, call it okay. I think the Patriots offense looked as crisp as it has all year, specifically
last 2 years, honestly.
Yeah, good point. Mac Jones, we've said this. I think incremental improvements every single game is what you're going to see out of this offense. I don't know if it'll be enough for the playoffs because of the hole that they've dug themselves in, but it's another example of moving forward. They clearly
They're 3 plays away from being 6-1. That's like,
yeah. That's the definition of a bad team.
Thanks, Bill.
They clearly wanted to get Jonnu Smith involved in the offense early. They ran a lot of plays to him. Jet sweep, couple.
It was
screens.
too much. He's hurt.
Yep, he got hurt. That was too much for him. They ran up the middle all day long. Damian Harris over 100 yards, 2 touchdowns. JJ Taylor got a couple touchdowns. The screens were working all day. That drive to end the first half after the Jets scored their 2nd touchdown said a lot to me. You know, if they hit that extra point, it would have been a 2-possession game. It wouldn't feel like a blowout. And with 4 minutes left in the half, Mac Jones threw about a dozen fucking screen passes and picked up a couple 3rd downs to go down there and score a touchdown with no time left. Whether that's against the Jets or anybody, a nice executed 4-minute drive to get a touchdown before the half, that spells good team. That spells good coaching. That's good execution.
That was a Hunter Henry back in the end zone catch, right?
Yeah.
That was just was it 4 straight game now with Hunter Henry? So I mean, you've seen kind of why you brought him here, the red zone target, and it's good to see you played basically a 60-minute game. You opened up the offense more in the red zone for Mac. You had some trick plays. I thought they got a little creative. Like that one, the second like flea flicker thing or whatever that somehow
you were
ended up
bitching after the first one.
Yeah, I'm not a huge I don't show this shit against the Jets. You still put up 54, but that second one, why do you need to throw the second trick play?
Because we're 2-4. We suck, Bill.
I was with you on the first one, Ray. The wide receiver pass from Kendrick Bourne and Nelson Aguilar. Look, don't let this team hang around. You're 2-4. You lost a bad one last week. Go out there, get the lead, make it dominant, whatever you got to do to make that happen. But they ran a couple, they just kept running a little bit too cutesy kind of plays for me.
That's all McDaniels.
Yeah.
He's going to take a lot of heat.
He needs to do that when you're marching up and down the field. But
Yeah, CJ Mosley for them was a big loss. You couldn't run the ball great against them.
Oh, you did? I didn't know that. The commentator said it about 50 fucking times when Damian Harris was just running up their fucking throat.
This is the worst. This is what happens when you suck. You get the fucking F team.
Oh my God, it's the worst.
They were calling Owinu, who moved over to right tackle, and their offensive
line
good.
Thank you. They've been listening.
Bill, on you. Their offensive line finally got good when they put someone on right tackle that could play. What did they call him all game?
Owinu.
Owinu.
It was bad. Yeah,
it was terrible. The other thing I wanted to mention on that drive that I was impressed with was they went for it a fourth down for the fourth time all season long after getting crushed in the media for not going for it against the Cowboys and against the Bucks. So
and look at the play they
situation or if that was,
I don't know, man. Look at that play they ran with the Mac rollout, perfect rollout, Jacoby Myers, boom, first down. It's like you could have had that. You had that on Tampa, and you sure as shit could have made that.
That's when they ran the other trick play, the 3rd and 1 down there. What was that little stupid fucking play that they ran?
I don't even remember.
They ran a dumbass. I would have to go back.
That was the Mac Jones one when it was at the
was 4th and 1, but 3rd and 1 they ran some stupid
the flea flicker thing or whatever that went back to Mac Jones. And he threw it out. He threw it out of bounds.
Damian Harris is only averaging 8 yards a carry up the middle. You're 3rd and 1, and you pull that stupid shit at the 30-yard line. Like, to your point, Ray, it's the Jets. Josh McDaniels didn't dig himself out of the hole here with 54 points in my eyes, because once you got into that 30-yard line, they still looked. They were still their touchdown they scored, Brendan Bold. They scored on 2 fucking screenplays within the 30, which doesn't work against good teams. Screenplays inside the 30.
What was it? 31-7 at halftime. I didn't even watch the second half. I was like, all right, I'm out. This game's done.
Mac ended up 24 for 36, over 300 yards, 2 touchdowns. That go route to Bourne was his best throw of the day. Dropped it in a bucket, about 1.5 inches from a touchdown on that one.
I like this Bourne kid a lot. I really. He's a good signing. I mean, I like him better than Aguilar, and you're only paying him $6-7 million a year, and he's quick. Now I think he's grown into this offensive role now. I think the first 3-4 games he started slow. He wasn't getting on the field, but now I think out of necessity, you're really seeing it. And you're getting him involved in trick plays. He thrown a touchdown pass, but you got him end arounds and those again a go route. He had the touchdown last week is a fucking bomb. So it's like I like the way they're kind of really not forcing targets and forcing plays for him, but they're getting him a lot more involved, more so than Aguilar is.
He's reliable. He's catching the ball. Aguilar looks like he's back in Philly with those frying pan hands. He drops the most short catch of all.
Do you guys have faith that he was going to catch that touchdown pass? Me either.
I thought he was going to drop it. But that's the thing. Bourne's not that guy that you're second guessing. We're not going to be praying, thinking, please God, catch the fucking ball when Kendrick Bourne's getting the ball.
And I think that's why you're seeing a little better rapport with Kendrick Bourne than you are with Mac Jones and Nelson Aguilar too.
I just think this is why the Aguilar signing didn't ever make sense to me. Isn't as excited as we were, so we didn't have to watch N'Keal Harry. But he's not. Kendrick Bourne and Jacoby Myers are Patriot wide receivers. They're guys that can run a route, find some open space, catch the ball, and get down. Nelson Aguilar, in his career, has always been a speed guy, down the sideline guy.
Yeah, he led the NFL and
it was like 19 yards a catch last season or something. So, and that's never been the Patriots offense. And I don't know if they have a spot for him. You can see him trying to feed it to him. They're trying to get some back shoulder rapport going on with Mac Jones. They're trying to get some deep in cuts with him. I'd like to see him on some quick drags or something nice and easy out front that he can run with. He's one of the fastest guys they have.
Even a wide receiver screen, like just set it up a little bit better and let him do that. Let him just get kind of run in the open field. I mean, I hated Nelson Aguilar. I hated the signing, but you need to, again, out of necessity, because this is all you have. You have Bourne, Aguilar, and Myers. You can't rely on Gunner, Shelf.
There was a N'Keal Harry sighting. N'Keal Harry sighting.
Yay.
In the fourth quarter, he actually got some touches earlier in the game for blocking purposes. As soon as he came in, I said wide receiver screen, and they ran one to Kendrick Bourne, I'm pretty sure. But then, Brian Hoyer is tossing a 30-yard bomb where he made a nice play over some scrub.
It's like the fourth quarter of the fourth preseason game.
Yeah,
we are 54-13 and 21.
Were you watching it though when N'Keal Harry was on the field? Mac Jones was still telling him he was lining up wrong.
Yep. Saw it twice.
How the fuck are you still on this team? You don't know the plays. You don't know where to line up. It's just like it's common sense, dude. Get the fuck out of here.
To Bill's point, they don't have anybody. If one of these, if Bourne, Myers, or Aguilar go down, he's in. So they need to keep working with them in
What's
case
Trey
one of those
Nixon
guys
doing?
gets an
What
injury.
is Trey Nixon on the practice squad? Bring him up. Fuck
Yeah.
this fucking Nikhil
I think
Harry.
he's on IR.
I think he hurt
is he?
himself. Yeah, I think
He
he's
got
out.
hurt. Yeah, I think they
Real quickly here on the defensive side of the ball, I thought early on there's some fucking terrible tackling going on. Just terrible tackling going. Jalen Mills had
That's the
a
man.
couple missed tackles, and he sucks in man-to-man coverage. Corey
You
Davis
really
is a
need him
good
on the
receiver,
inside.
but he fucking blows in man-to-man coverage.
Yeah, you really need Mills on the inside. And again, it makes you wonder why you cut Stephon Gilmore, because you bring him over. You're moving Jalen Mills right into that fucking slot, which would have been a big necessity now that Jonathan Jones is out for the year with shoulder surgery. Again, a questionable call by Bill cutting him because he's practicing with Carolina this weekend. I wouldn't be surprised if he's playing on Sunday. And he'll definitely be playing fucking 2 weeks when New England travels there. You mark that on your fucking calendar for sure.
Yep, they should have either paid that man or traded him last year. That we've been through that.
Mills is not an outside guy.
I think the fact that they moved him though tells you he wasn't going to play for New England. He wasn't going to play.
Yeah, I don't. I think
so. Wherever you want to mark that fuck up by Belichick, it was his fuck up for sure. But I don't think the fuck up was trading him this season. He just wasn't going to play for him. So you had to do something. You had to move on from him. You were paying him.
Could have paid him last year. You gave
$400,000 a week to do nothing.
Yeah.
So, interception by Duggar. Nice hands there. Interception by J.C. Jackson. Kind of a classic pick by him, undercutting the route in the fourth quarter in a nothing game. And you're leaving this week 1 game back of the Bills, who had a bye week this week, but still counts. You're only 1 game back in the standings of the division.
Still counts.
Back in it, baby.
I mean, Miami and the Jets are what 2-10 combined or whatever the fucking records are.
They fucking suck. And Deshaun Watson has come out and said, "I'm not going to Miami." So the Dolphins continue. Yep, he said anywhere but Miami.
Oh, I thought that was Philly too.
Philly. It's anywhere but Philly. It's anywhere but Philly. Well, Miami, the rumors now is Flores hates everybody hates Flores, and it's too much like New England, and they want him out. So this team is clearly quitting on him. And then again, it's another Patriots coach that goes somewhere else for their team to quit on him. It's happened a lot lately.
Bring him back. Bring him back. I would take Flo back in a second.
In a heartbeat.
We'll trade him. We'll trade the Dolphins, Steve Belichick for Brian Flores.
Yeah.
And cash consideration.
And Xavier Howard.
Yeah, we'll take him. We'll take him on the cheap. Okay. Well, yeah. This feels like even after the Jets, it's nice to just get a win. It's nice to just get a win.
Great win versus a bad team. I don't care what it is. It was good to still put up 54 points. You needed Mac to go. It's 24-36, 304 yards, 2 touchdowns, first 300
time
yard
ever.
First time 300-yard game. So again, it's good to see. You want to see some progression. He's got better basically every single week. This is what we want to see. He's leading the fucking rookie quarterbacks and touchdowns, basically everything. So I mean, it's what you want to see, and he's clearly outperforming every rookie quarterback. So yeah, a good win against a bad team. It's probably their best win all year. Again, it's against the Jets, so put an asterisk on it. But 50 points is 50 points.
Yeah, the offense looks like it's scary. Although Jermaine Wiggins from WEI believes that the Patriots will have a better record with Justin Fields. Just
and he also thinks Mac Jones is Chad Pennington.
Yeah, idiot. We're for higher EI, by the way. I lost my train of Jets haven't won in New England in a decade. So that's
who the last quarterback was to beat him?
Chad Pennington.
Nope.
Pennington.
Brett Favre.
Brett Favre. I was at that fucking game, overtime game.
Thursday night.
Matt Castle threw the tying touchdown to
Randy Moss on the one-handed on the side down right at the corner of that end zone.
Fucking rain.
No,
it wasn't Mark Sanchez. No shit.
It was Brett Favre. Sanchez beat him in the playoffs. It was the regular season.
Oh, okay.
I lost we had standing room only seats for that game. Pouring, freezing, the worst type of football game to be at, cold and rainy. And then I lost my fucking car. I got too drunk and forgot what fucking lot I parked in. So I walked around for 3.5 hours, lost the buzz, went through the whole hangover. By the time I found it, sobered up. Just sucked.
Dude, you get lost there.
Wet.
That's why I park in the same place.
I would have to sit down after a couple stints, just tired, beeping the fucking thing. Hopefully the battery didn't die.
Hopefully you can hear it in the distance. Please God.
Please, dear Lord, make me a bird.
This is why I park in the same place where I know where I'm going. Even drunkenly, I could just walk like a zombie there.
Yeah, well,
because you usually do.
10 years ago, Brett Favre was playing. I was young and dumb and wet.
Just like your mom.
Thank you. I was waiting. She'll be happy
Layup.
about the young part, I guess. Bruins off to a hard start. Your opening
And
take
wet.
there, Bill. 3-1. Jake DeBrusk with 2 goals. Olmark gets his first win against his old team, the Sabres. Speaking of relegation,
They were
you
3-0.
had your first bad game out of Swayman against the Flyers. Your thought? What are your thoughts on your bees, Raymond? Bill? I mean, Bill.
Yeah, Bill.
No, it's good 3-1 start early. You know, I alluded to it in my opening take. I mean, you're getting balanced scoring. It's, you know, you finally had and then you finally had Jeremy Swayman's like worst game of his career, probably. You know, and Allmark knocked off some rust or change of scenery thing. He looked real good against Buffalo. I mean, you're gonna have, you know, you're coming out today riding the hot hand at this point. I think he's starting again Wednesday, I believe. Allmark should get that start. So I mean, it's good. You brought him in. You're paying him $5 million, and he looked good. And again, you're hoping you got a good 1-2 punch here in goaltending, and then again balance scoring. Jake DeBrusk, Taylor Hall, David Pasternak all have 2 goals. Brad Marchand, I believe, has 4 goals right now. So I mean,
dude, how about
that's
the Hall goal?
Hall is like he has
nasty.
I think it's 10 or 12 goals in the regular season and 20 regular season games. Like he's on like it's like a 50 or 60 goal pace that he's on since in the regular season. Granted, he's kind of sucked it against the Islanders in the playoffs, but you know, that's what you want to see. That's why you paid him to stay here at a fucking very cheap deal right now.
Yeah,
and,
very cheap deal.
Even Coyle's put, I think he's got 2 goals too. Charlie Coyle.
I was gonna ask you that because I have not been able to watch as much hockey as I want to because of the streaming fucking wars, and I trying to find these games has just been a nightmare. But what are your 2 questions? Your thoughts on Coyle on the second line and the decor as a whole? How those 2 things looked?
I think Coyle's kind of fit in seamlessly right now. I mean, he's a lot faster than Krejci. I mean, I think Krejci's a better playmaker, but right now, I mean, he's setting up the chances. I like the way Craig Smith's playing. I know he hasn't scored a goal yet, but I mean, that line's grinding.
They dropped him on the line. Was it last game or the game before?
Yeah, they kind of
Paolo or Nosek, right?
Nosek from the 4th line, I think, or 3rd line. He's on 3rd line. Yeah, they moved him up. I think it was more of just like try to get him going. He started pretty slow last year. He kind of turned it on a little late. I'm not really worried about him, especially what you're kind of seeing in Taylor Hall. The defense as a whole, I mean, Charlie McAvoy as an offensive, you're seeing him kind of come out offensively right now, and they're using him a lot better. First, he's a number 1 power play unit right now, and he's moving up and down the ice. I think him and Forbert right now in their number 1 units look good. They've mixed in Grzelcyk there when they need kind of a spark and get a little bit more scoring with McAvoy. Kind of expands the ice a little bit, and it's worked. I like the way their defense has been playing, but again, you're facing some injuries. You brought up John Moore and then send his ass back down. I think you still need to add. You still need another defenseman, especially in that third deep area. You have Carson Kuhlman and Grzelcyk down on the 3rd line. I think you need to add there. Clifton. Sorry, Connor Clifton. I don't think Clifton's a 82 game player. I think he's more of a 7th, 8th guy. You know, come in, kind of give a spark. I think you still need to try to add there. But other than that, I mean, it's good. It's good 3-1 start. Good to see. Flyers are a good team. You know,
I'd like to see him at
one
size.
stinker.
That Grzelcyk Clifton is just too small, especially as a 3rd pairing. Like, I'd like to see him add some size there. And John Moore has been kicking around for so fucking long. Gee, I mean,
yeah, it will just watch. He might stay down there. He's going to play regularly, but that's a big salary cap too, because I think he's like 2.7. Now you dump Chris Wagner and kind of give you another 1.2 or 1.5. I forget exactly what Wagner's. So now, I mean, they're kind of basically off your books because you stashed him in Providence. So, I mean, it gives you more money to kind of add. I know I've said it. The Rast door is not closed. Krejci supposedly is not closed, but according to him it is. So I mean, I think you need to add right now. I know it's only 4 games, but I wasn't confident on the deep pair coming in, and now you're kind of
we'll see. You know, obviously the deadline's a ways away. We'll see what the team looks like then if they feel like they want to invest in it. Speaking of investing in the team, the Celtics have a newish look, Raymond, but the overall play doesn't look that different to me. 1-2, the first game, a instant classic in Madison Square Garden, double overtime against the Knicks, who are not as bad as they used to be. Added Kemba Walker, Evan Fournier. They got Julius Randle, who is an all-NBA player. They got some young RJ Barrett and a couple young guys there, and Tom Thibodeau, who's been a good coach in the NBA for a long time. So say what you want about the Knicks. I don't think they're as talented as the Celtics, but they're going to play hard every night. They did that night. You didn't have Al Horford. Tatum shot like 14%, and Jaylen Brown kept you in it with 46 points. You come back 2 days later, get absolutely fucking demolished by the Raptors, blame that on heavy legs to start the season, whatever. And then you go basically blow out the Rockets with Al Horford and no Jaylen Brown, who it was his birthday and they said his heel hurt. So whatever you want.
Now they're up 2 right now against the Hornets at halftime.
And you got the Hornets today, and you're up 2.
Up 2 at halftime?
A lot of people are high on the Hornets this year, too. I'll just say this about the Celtics. I said this in the first game to you guys. It looked like the same goddamn Celtics not being able to put their foot on the gas, not being able to close at the right time. Maybe I'm the homer of the Celtics group here, but just through 3 games, maybe it's the Al Horford difference. That was just a different looking team in the last couple of games. Even the Charlotte game I watched a little bit before the show. They're going to need a while to shake off their fucking bad, terrible, shitty one-on-one play, young NBA player habits. I don't know if they can or if they will, but I think that they have the potential to. They should be a top 4 team in the East, right?
I know you're the biggest Jason Tatum fan now because, I don't know, you snap, you son of a bitch. But he does not look interested playing for these Boston Celtics. Every game I've watched so far, he just doesn't look like he wants to be there. He has this puss on his face. You watch LeBron, these superstars that take over franchises. Jason Tatum is not that guy. This is not a franchise type player.
Not that guy, pal.
I agree with you. I snip snap.
Now you're back.
Okay. Jason Tatum will not be the type of guy in this league that people think that he can be and that he thinks that he is. First of all, you're right. The Dookie AAU glide through this thing attitude fucking sucks. And I don't know if the team needs to commit to him or prove to him that it's a championship team, which is wrong. But even if it does, I don't know if he has the makeup to be the guy that they need him to be. Secondly, just from an X and an O standpoint, his offensive game has not improved that much in 5 years in this league. He still can't dribble, drive, penetrate in the league. He has no body control when he gets into the paint. He's good in a step back roll and a fadeaway if his shot's on. And he's developed a little bit of an inside game, just getting bigger and being able to finish a little bit better, but he still basically sucks around the rim. So I'm snip snapping on my snip snap. I'm not high on Jason Tatum. He's in the prove it to me bucket. You have to prove it to me over and over and over again till I jump on your bandwagon again.
It just goes back to my take last week when you asked me who was going to be a leader, and it sure as shit ain't Jason Tatum. I mean, Jaylen Brown's your leader of this team, and it's everything I said. Again, Ray, you just alluded to, he looks like he doesn't want to play for the team. He's selfish. It goes back to the Dookie, everything. Like the young players want to follow him and do that because again, he's a budding superstar in this league, and he's a very well respected player in the league right now. But I just don't. That's not, to me, that's not the type of leadership you need. I think these players could be fucking hanging out with the Jaylen Browns in the world, and Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum don't like each other off the court at all. So it's like. I think
they squashed those rumors this last season when
I don't know if they like each other, if they don't like each other. Frankly, I don't fucking care. Tatum doesn't have the makeup, and I'll backtrack on my on what I said that he hasn't gotten better. He's gotten a little bit better distributing the ball. He's had some decent passes in the last few games and getting his teammates involved off the dribble, but he's lacking a big part of an offensive game that makes you elite, and he's definitely lacking the it factor, the killer instinct factor that frankly a lot of people said LeBron James didn't have at the beginning of his career. But I'm not going to sit here and compare Jason Tatum to LeBron James in his 5th year in the league. We knew what LeBron James was his 5th year in the league. We just thought he was a pussy. Turns out he kind of is, but turned it off a little bit. I don't know if Jason Tatum can. I don't know. I don't think he has it. And to my point, maybe you'll get it, but you're in the prove it bucket to me now, buddy. You, Marcus Smart, I don't know. I've put a lot of people in that. Any sports.
How about
team
Romeo
from Cleveland? Romeo Langford, sure, yeah. Put him.
He can't miss.
He can't miss.
You have to prove it to me this whole season that you are changed people and changed men and changed athletes. That you have conquered your flaws. I'm not giving you the benefit of any doubt anymore, and I'm just gonna revert back to my original take 3 years ago that Jaylen Brown is the man. He's my guy. You can't have him, Bill. He's been my guy. Tatum's your guy. Budding superstar.
You're right.
This has been the Semi Sports Show. Fat Tuesday weekend roundup, October 26th. We'll see you on Wednesday for some NFL talk. Bye-bye.
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 When he took that overtime, when Jason Tatum took that overtime fadeaway shot and airballed it, and he like flailed his legs out.
Who was the one? Who missed the wide open dunk in overtime?
Might have been Robert Williams. I think it was the cling off the back.
That's your guy.
Yeah,
That's your guy, Bill.
He's
had
looked
a good
good. He played
start. He's
46
looked good.
minutes that night. I don't know if he can do it for a whole season, but
What do you have? 15, 10, 4 blocks.
5 for 5 from the field. He's
Hey,
looked good. Brown
Who's
looks
playing
good.
tonight? Who's playing tonight? The day after their birthday, that they had a sore knee.
Oh, Brown.
Jaylen Brown's in the
It was
Is he
a
in?
sore heel, and
No, it was a
sorry.
knee.
I thought it was a knee.
I thought it
It's
was
a
a
knee.
plant. I just said plant something, and I thought it was plantar fasciitis.
No, it's just It was his knee. I don't know.
Whatever. He had to go get his rocks off on his birthday. Good for him. He put
good
up
for him.
46.
Know all about that. Yeah,
Good for
46 gets you a break. It's Kyrie motto.
Is not that guy that we thought he was going to be, where he's not going to take any of this bullshit.
I don't know. I don't know if that's
I don't
true or
know.
not yet. They haven't been bitching as much. That's a fact. There's not been as much bitching. Maybe that's
Jason
the NBA.
doesn't bitch. He doesn't bitch. He just does this.
That's
Yeah.
bitching.
Like a fucking toddler. Just
That's
fucking
baby
walking
back
away.
bitching.
Yeah, he sulks or smiles when shit goes wrong. It's so infuriating to watch. So fucking frustrating to watch.
Hey guys, we didn't talk about soccer though. The Revs 2 points away from the all-time record, regular season record.
That's true. Raymond?
We don't-
We must